Back at it again, and we got another one with Vivek. Absolutely embarrassing mainstream media. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
Let's talk about white supremacy and what happened last night for a moment, because when you were talking to reporters last night, you called white supremacy a myth. When someone asked you about Dylan Roof, you said you didn't know who that is. Have you looked up what happened in 2015?
Yeah, look, I said this last night. Invidious racial discrimination is wrong no matter how it happens. But if a Washington Post reporter is asking me almost like a catechism, whatever question I said, I'm against invidious racial discrimination, whatever form it takes, but says, do you denounce white supremacy? It's incumbent on us for us to define what white supremacy is. I wrote my book, Woke Inc., and I've written about the detailed understanding of what the popular understanding of these terms have come to mean. Do you believe punctuality is a vestige of white supremacy, Dasha?
Look,
because if you don't, then you have a disagreement about many of the people who are defining those terms, or the written word, or the use, or the nuclear family. These aren't my words. These are the words of intellectual proponents from Ibram Kendi to the Ayanna Presleys to BLM that have said these are vestiges of white supremacy. So
Mr.
we can't have it both ways.
What you do, though,
we have to have an honest discussion.
Straw man arguments.
This is not a straw man.
You brought up Jussie Smollett as.
You notice how, the media always tries to interrupt these folks whenever they're saying something? They did it with Trump. Do it with Vivek. Whenever they feel like their narrative is being exposed. Oh, they try to overtalk the other person. And it's like, bro, if you're going to do an interview, let the individual speak and answer your question. Why are you so afraid? What is there to be afraid of?
We have to have an honest discussion.
Straw man arguments.
Last night you brought up
Jussie Smollett as the best example
Smollett
of white
was the
supremacy.
hottest thing in news in the back of a fake actual attack on him that we have to contend with.
And yet you have examples like the Buffalo shooter in New York just in 2022.
You have other examples.
But you are also cherry picking when you bring up Jussie Smollett.
I'll look at all of the statistics. More black on black crime. If you really care about actual crime against black Americans, let's get to the root causes of it in the inner cities of this country.
The Anti-Defamation League tracked a 38% increase in white supremacist propaganda last year.
Who's tracking that?
The Anti-Defamation League.
Yeah, the ADL, I don't think is a particularly credible source when they have a cherry-picked information.
When we're talking about
I would suggest look at there's a table, 2x2 table. Federal law enforcement data, which you could say what you do. Maybe we shouldn't believe that either. But look at black on Asian crime, black on black crime,
the FBI
white on
hate
black
crime statistics. That's a law enforcement agency. 59.1% was based on race, ethnicity, and ancestry, saying hate crimes rose 12% between 2020 and 2021.
Look at the absolute crimes themselves. What they classify as a hate crime is itself a political judgment. I think that when you actually care about protecting life, if you want to say Black Lives Matter, let's look at where black lives are actually being lost. It's in the cities at the heart of other black Americans and criminals that are
bingo
trained by the absence
that we talk about as well. But are we supposed to
cities at the heart of other black Americans and criminals
that are restrained by the absence that we talk about as well? But
no, it is not an issue that you talk about. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. That is a bold-faced lie. That is total and utter BS. They don't talk about that. When's the last time you tuned into any mainstream media network, which I'm sure you guys probably don't watch those anyway, because come here and watch me, which I appreciate you. But when's the last time you heard any mainstream media network mention Chicago? When's the last time? When's the last time you heard any mainstream media network mention Chicago and the black on black crime that happens there? Talk to me now. These so-called black leaders. When's the last time you seen them marching in Chicago for peace? When's the last time? I see one marching outside of, or marching for the Harvard president being fired. What was her name? Claudine? I think that's how you say her name. I see them marching for that. Where's the Chicago march? Where's it at? Bro, these folks be out here lying. Oh, we care so much about black people. We care so much about black people. White supremacy is. What about the black people that die in Chicago every day? What about the black people that die in Baltimore, Memphis, Atlanta? What about that? Because those deaths outnumber any deaths by the hands of any white person from white supremacy. So when are we going to talk about the actual problem? That's like somebody having a gaping wound from, I don't know, a shotgun blast, and you're over here trying to put a Band-Aid on their scratch. Oh, you fell here. You fell after you got blasted. Let me put a Band-Aid on your scratched arm. But I got a gaping wound in my chest. What is this Band-Aid gonna do? Yeah, it might help a little bit, stop the bleed from the cut, make sure no infection, gets into the cut on my arm. Yeah, cool. Yeah. But this, what about these folks? Don't make any sense, man. It's time they get called out for it.
Are we supposed to ignore white supremacist hate crimes?
We're not supposed to ignore any kind of crime, Dasha. That's what I say. But what I see is a selective reporting. Take the Nashville Transgender Shooter Manifesto. Every shooter manifesto in a mass shooting has been released within 48 hours, except for that one shooter in Nashville. Now, it ended up being leaked. What do you see? It wasn't a white supremacist. It was somebody that was actually making fun of using derogatory terms. I believe.
Okay, so why are you okay talking about that manifesto and not talking about the manifesto from...
Oh, let's skip over that one.
Talking about
2015
both. I'm more than okay talking about both, but what I'm asking.
Let's not talk about this recent one that wasn't released, but let's talk about one from 2015. This is laughable, man. This is laughable. But once again, I'm glad it's happening because people get to see how trash mainstream media actually is. How trash it is. Let's not talk about the manifesto that wasn't released but got leaked within the past. When did that happen? Last year? Let's talk about something that happened in 2015 instead. Almost 10 years ago. Let's talk about that instead. What the
Asking is, why is the mainstream media suppress that one? Why did the police suppress that one? Why was that the one shooter manifesto that of all of the mass shootings, every other shooter manifesto has been released? I'm focused on that one because that's the one that's been hidden from us. And it comes back to the point of my candidacy and the way I'm going to run this country. Trust the people with the truth. If it doesn't match your narrative,
the reality is right now,
I think the media did not hold the police accountable. They would have been demanding that.
Starting to gain traction with the black community, with Latino voters. Do not worry that your rhetoric is pushing them away. There are folks
to the contrary. I think we're going to bring black people into this movement.
Who are concerned about your rhetoric.
Well, you know what? I'm concerned about their corruption. If you had somebody who actually one of the most prominent black influencer the other day, what did she say? I've been black my whole life, and this man could actually unify this country in response to a long exchange I had with a black pastor who at an event here in Iowa did challenge me with a hard question, asking me, are my views against affirmative action, how do those align with historical racial injustice?
Affirmative action is a debate that is being had.
If I may just finish this. If I may finish my point,
Dasha.
With racism, I think I will be better positioned.
But you're denying that racism
bro, she just won't, bro. I'm laughing out of frustration at this point, because it's just like, I'm not going to even be rude. I was about to be extremely rude, but,
I've never denied that racism is a problem. And if you listen to the response I gave to that black pastor, my whole point is racism has been a major problem for most of our national history. But we're getting close to the promised land that Martin Luther King envisioned. We're as darn close to it as we ever have been. And so what bothers the heck out of me is it's right when we're close to that promised land. Martin Luther King said it, I may not get there with you, and he didn't get there with us. But I think it desecrates the legacy of our civil rights movement, desecrates the legacy of Martin Luther King, that right when we get closest to the point of having racial equality and gender equality and even opportunities for people of minorities of many types, are we perfect? No. But are we as close as we've ever been? Yes, we have. To then obsess over systemic racism, to then obsess over white guilt and otherwise, we're creating new waves of racism, Dasha, that we otherwise would have avoided right when we're closest to having achieved what even the proponents of the civil rights movement would have dreamed of. That's what bothers me. My exchange with that black pastor about a week or so ago, right here in Iowa, not far from where we are, it was in Indianola, not far from where we are in Des Moines, was that we're founded on the pursuit of a more perfect union. the pursuit of liberty, equality, and justice for all. And I reject this left-wing narrative that's creating more artificial division. So I believe I will bring more black and Hispanic voters into our movement, not by saying fake poll-tested slogans, but by speaking the hard truth that we've been imperfect in our past, but let us celebrate the progress we've made and reject the media's cherry-picking narratives to actually get to the truth of the matter. And now if we care about black lives, the things we're going to do isn't obsessing about white supremacy. It's actually fixing the problems in our cities, which I will do as our president.
Bingo. Bingo. On point. On point completely. Vivek is on a roll, man. Vivek is on a roll. I mean, it's honestly incredible. You know, part of me, he's on so much of a tear right now. Like, it almost worries me a little bit. You know, because I'm like, maybe you are a plant. You know, like, it's just sounding a little too good. It sounded a little too good. Now, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I don't get the same feeling that I got with Ron DeSantis. And I spoke about this a lot. And I even at the time, like I told you guys, like there's something about Ron DeSantis that just doesn't feel right to me. I can't pinpoint it. I can't tell you what it is. And this is documented. This is in videos. The videos are still up on this channel, so you can go back and watch them. Like, I'm telling the truth. And then, as we have figured out, Ron DeSantis isn't the guy he claimed to be, right? And his polls have just done this the entire time. I don't get that same feeling from Vivek, but he is saying a lot of things that I really like, you know, and it's almost like that too good to be true saying, you know, like it feels a little too good to be true, you know, but hey, I'll say Vivek 28, Trump 24, Vivek 28 until he proves me otherwise. So I'll give him a little credit. Not in 24, but in 28. Okay, in 28, and not this year. It's Trump's time this year. It is Trump's time. But yeah, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions on all of this in the comment section below. I think Vivek absolutely pinpointed. I couldn't have said it any better myself. I mean, genuinely, I couldn't have said it any better myself. It's incredible. It's incredible. You know, I really can't even add anything else. Y'all let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.